Oh, here we go again. All right. Figured I would do this one while I had the energy and I had the fortitude of mind to do this one. Don't mind the noise in the background. It's pretty quiet in my house usually, but today's just one of those days, I guess. Nonetheless, I am here to give you all this good old live stream real quick. Um, I know I say I don't want to make these things long, but sometimes it has to go there. So we'll see what comes out rather than me saying I'm not going to make it long. um, so this message is going to be to the men uh, during this epidemic. It's something that I've thought about for a period of time. Um, and I figured that it was an appropriate time to um, give this message out. It's not going to be super duper in depth. I do have a video that's going to accompany this message this time, um, as well as my commentary. So we'll just let a few people get in here and then we'll go from there with that. But just to preface it a little bit, um, what made me come to this conclusion of what men should be doing, because we are supposed to be doing something, that's a given at any point in time, that we're supposed to be doing something, um even if it is to remain idle, that's still something to do. I have another video that I would like to do that is more along the lines of the programming of women. um, I want to be clear on that, but I want to get this video out of the way first, and then the message to the women, then I can proceed on, because I don't want to mutter any of the messages in between. Uh, it's all going to be in succession. That's how I want it to be. What's going on, Ebon? What's going on, Loud Milk Entertainment? But the message that I have to give to the men is pretty straightforward, I would hope. Um, but just in case it's not, I'm here for clarification, of course. But the message to the men is going to be simply that for the majority of the men who listen to this and who may come in contact with this message, is going to be for them. And it's because this is no slight to any man, by the way. This is no slight to their abilities. This is no slight to their personalities. This is just me doing my diligence on what I believe is necessary for men to take heed of in order to be successful in their endeavors. But I figured let's go ahead and get on with it. So I'm gonna be smoking my vape a little bit, so don't mind the noise. I like to chill out on my live streams. But the message is simply that men should refrain from entertaining women during this time. It would seem like a pretty straightforward thing to say, but there are certain men that think that there's a threshold that they can withstand in regards to women during this time. And what I mean by during this time is during this quarantine um, era that we're going through, if you want to call it that. Uh, the reason why I say that is because a lot of men, they are here in this space to gain knowledge and to gain understanding. Most people who come to this space do not have channels because they are not producers. It's not to say that they don't have the intellect, the know-how, the ability. It's just that they don't have channels. They don't have a message to put out per se. Now there are plenty of people who are frequenters to different channels, and they may jump on a panel or whatnot, and they may have their own conversation about certain things, but they don't have their own channel. Um, and for the majority of men out there, they just stick to uh, commenting in the video section, commenting in comment sections. Uh, that's pretty much how far it goes. But for the majority of men, they are here to learn something. And I'm not saying that just because you're here to learn something doesn't mean that it automatically means that you are um, unintelligible, to the circumstances. But I would suggest that men take this time to reflect on themselves, whether to continue their lives as they have been. And I say that because a lot of men, they don't have the proper masculinity. They don't have the ability to weed out women accordingly. They don't have the tools. They don't have they're here for these things. And I understand this. Like I said, this is no slight to any man that's hearing this, but this is something that needs to be said. This is something that probably your elders would say, someone who cares about you would say. They would tell you, focus on you during this time. Focus on getting your life together. Don't worry about the women. The women aren't going nowhere. They're not going anywhere. But I would suggest that you stay to yourself. I would suggest that you limit your interactions with women, not women, that you are already dealing with currently, but any new women. Because these women out here, they're getting a little thirsty. I see it more increasingly. When I go outside, I see it more increasingly. I get looks anyways, but it's a little bit different this time because I see and I smell a hint of desperation. I think the women understand that this is a time where they should probably cling to the closest male that they can get a hold of. Now, this is the evolutionary structure of women. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that we are still in America. That's the problem. Due to a woman, ditching her programming and going with her ditching her social programming, going with her biological programming, shouldn't dictate how you move as a man. The reason why is because they're doing it according to their own needs, not necessarily what you need. That's the reason why you should pay no attention to it. But the thing is, this type of behavior is going to increase. It is going to get more aggressive. It is going to become more tempestuous, if you will. And for that reason, I would say disengage all things, especially any new women that come around, disengage completely because these women are going to show you something that you've never seen. And if you're the thirsty dude that I know you to be, you're going to fall for the trap. This stuff is going to blow over eventually. And what's going to happen is once it won't go back to normal. Don't get me wrong on that. But this stuff is going to blow over eventually. Remember, these women, they do what they do according to what they need. They have ditched the social programming for the biological programming. And due to that fact, that shows you that they can transition based on the circumstances. So if they can transition based on the circumstances according to what you may view to be in your favor. Why wouldn't they be able to do the same thing if the circumstances change and do it not in your favor? You'll be caught with the circumstance that you can't get rid of because remember we're still here in America. The laws still apply. Damn a pandemic pretty much. Because once this blows over, back to business as usual, and you'll be stuck with the liability on your hands, because that's what she is. She'll come cloaked as as an asset. She'll do everything that she needs to do. She'll say everything that she needs to say just to get her foot past that threshold of your door. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Once you fall for it, you're stuck with a bag in your hand. And I'm not talking about the bag that you think. I'm talking about the bag of full of liabilities, lies, deceit, all the dysfunction you can think of. Because that threshold, even let's go with another hypothetical. Let's say that this situation is going to be going on for 2 years. She can't hold that frame for 2 years. She can't. It's not in her ability because her social programming is much stronger than the undertones of the biological program. I mean, it plays a little bit into our biology, the social programming. That's the reason why it's effective, but it's not the the purpose of the biological program isn't as overt as the social programming is. That's just how it goes. Well, let me read these. Let me get some of these comments. I don't want them to get too long, and then I have to go all the way back and read them again. I feel like a dick. uh, let's see. Grinch says, "Low key, I'm making a late night move right now. I know it's risky. I know it's late, and I got shit to do in the morning. But fuck it, my balls heavy, and I ate a simp salad sandwich for lunch. Okay. So I'll be fair. I'll be fair. There are some men that can navigate, the treachery of they'll. I mean, we started off in the MGTOW sector. Then it branched over to the red pill, etc. And one of the core tenets that we use to describe these women, we call them chameleons. That's exactly what we call them. We call them women who are adapt to the environment to blend in, and they're going to blend into your desire. As soon as you and a lot of these dudes, there's so much simps. You're gonna fall into it, and I don't mean that as a slight. People talk so badly about simps, and I kind of do too. I'm not gonna lie. Although at the same time, I think I believe there is a reconciliation. There is some level of redemption for these men, because even though how low simpery is that we may agree on, it is still a very very low form of masculinity, um, and it can be expounded upon. I definitely believe if enough men get burnt, that they'll turn their ways. Hopefully, that's what my thoughts are. But I'm an optimist when it comes to the upliftment and forward moving progression of men. I don't doom and gloom men, based on the environment. And no slight to anyone who does that. I mean, it is a necessary understanding of how we became as men, and what we are as men according to this climate. But what I will say is, for the majority of men out there, y'all don't have the tools to face what's going to come. I'm telling you that right now. You don't have the ability to to first off, because a lot of men are slaves to sex. That's going to be the first thing that goes up. And of course, we have our pump and dump crew out there, but this is going to be a little different. I mean, because the the climate is already that. So if they are giving away that for free right now, but they need something from you, they're going to turn it up. They're going to turn it up, and I don't mean just sexually. They're going to turn it up in every aspect of what they think they can do in order to manipulate you into a situation where you are vulnerable to their desires. You don't want to fall for that as a man. I'm telling you, I've been down that road before when I'm in my earlier years, and it's nothing pretty. Um, and it wasn't due to anything like what's going on. It was due to circumstances, just like what I'm talking about now. That's why I'm paralleling it as I am. But the thing of it is, I learned a lesson from that, and I'm here to give it to you guys in regards to what's going on. This is why I say you would be better off more. You will benefit more from investing your time, your effort, your energy into yourself. I know a lot of men feel like they have reached the pinnacle of who they can be, and they have things on the back burner. They have things going left and right. But there's always more you can do in regards to your masculinity. There's always more you can do. Um, there's always more insight that you can take to yourself. And I've entertained women at my point. I've become so much of a I don't give a fuck kind of guy, pretty much, um, in regards to courting women, that I use that energy for myself and the women who I do give that energy to. Nothing goes outside of that for too much. I mean, there's so many people that get left on red. you know, there's so many people that get ignored. All my energy goes towards the cultivation of what I believe my, and well, rather what I know my uh, principles are, and what my position is, and what I believe um, my goals are. That's where my energy goes into. Even as mundane as it sounds, sometimes I go out there and I'll work on my garden, or I'll trim up some of my trees, because I do bonsai on the side. Regardless, that is time that is well spent in regards to dealing with some strag off the streets. You know, I mean, I can clip my toenails and my time will be better spent. To be honest with you. And once again, these women, they're gonna come up, they're gonna offer you some fire deals. It's Black Friday sale out here. I'm telling you, they're gonna offer you some flyer deals. But trust me, these ain't nothing but lemons, guys. Nothing but lemons. You're gonna drive 20 miles and it's gonna break down on you. I'm telling you that right now. I don't know if any guys are out there, taking this in consideration, but this is something that you should definitely take in consideration. But anyway, let me get back to the comments on here. What's going on, BJ? Good to see you in the building. BJ be cranking out them live streams. I need to get like BJ straight up. You ain't Grinch, I swear. My motivation be low, I swear. Let's see. Speaking facts, um, men who have no intentions to keep or cuff any Grinch won't have an issue. Can't be fooled because there's nothing but the transition, nothing more. But that's the thing. Most men are blue pill. That's the problem. Pump and dump tactics are nothing but a cover up for what they really desire. To be honest with you, that's why a lot of dudes. That's why we came up with all these terms. We have to go back to the grassroots of this stuff, and that's the MGTOW era. Uh, when we were talking about the what do you call it? A lot of men thought about the pump and dump. They thought about the monk mode. They thought about all these things. Um, but there is always that blue pill, always that blue pill that is mentioned in every single last one of the conversations that we had. And due to that fact, that lets us know that the once again that we already know, the abundance of men are blue pill or have a high level of blue pill portion to them, even if they understand red pill ideology. And this isn't me necessarily pitting one against the other. Like I said, simpery is a low form of masculinity, but masculinity nonetheless. Because we don't call women simps, for instance. We don't refer to that behavior as simpery. It's only a masculine thing. Um, and it's kind of painful to say. I know it's kind of painful to listen to, but that's the truth of it. That's the truth of it. And I'm not going to tell you any lies. That's the truth of it as far as what I understand, according to my opinion. And it can be challenged. Go right ahead. Anybody that wants to have any go at it, go right ahead. Knock yourself out. Probably won't get a response from me, but whatever. But my point is that you know these men, they still have a certain level of let put it this way: the pump and dump is the cure for blue pillitis. Simply put, in my opinion. And once again, that's no slight to anybody who definitely believes in the pump and dump. But there's a different origin for that. The men from the blue pill sector, they chose pump and dump because they understand the red flags that were coming from the red pill ideology, and they took that mantle on to say, I'm not going to be fooled by any of these chicks. I need to get everything that I got with what I got, and I'm going to move on because I'm too much of a simp to have the high level of masculinity that is necessary to maneuver through all of these traps and trappings that these women are placing out there. So I'm just going to pump and dump them as a result. But there are some men like Grinch out there who understand that He that's exactly who he is. That's who he started off at. You know what I mean? He understood that this is ain't he ain't looking secretly looking for no girlfriend. He ain't secretly looking for no wife. None of that. But these men are. And what I'm saying is that that whole pump and dump tactic is not going to serve you well during this time, because a lot of these men, they can't handle they you know, okay, I would say, everybody knows that most blue pill men are one blow job away, right? From going back to the blue pill. I'm gonna up the ante a little bit. I'm gonna say most of these blue pill men are one date away from going back. Realistically, because if the woman is playing her part and doing what she needs to do, supposedly, quote unquote, they're gonna fall for it. They're gonna fall for it because they've been pumping and dumping so long that the one chick that looks pretty decently, that's actually showing what they think is genuine interest, they're gonna fall for it. And guess what the climate is right for that. It is right for that. That's why I'm saying don't even entertain any of this. And don't entertain any of this, because you're going to end up on the wrong side of the fence when all the dust clears. You think you gotten away with the whole pump and dump? All right, cool. One, you gonna run into one of these little acacia dials, and she gonna talk good game on you, and you gonna fall for it. That pump and dump only lasts you. That pump and dump is a aluminum shield. I mean, they block some stuff, but they coming with heavy hammers. Believe me. And that brings me to the video. But let's get back to the comments a little bit. Grinch says, "You're right. It's best to abstain from them, especially right now. They're desperate, hungry, and howling at the moon because they think it's made of government cheese." Let's see. Basically, if you're not willing to force feed a flossy and dangerous amount of Plan B, then don't fuck with her. Basically, straight up. That's no lies. There is such a thing as acceptance. Well, I could wish all day that my dog couldn't fly, and I'll be waiting forever. Eventually, I accept what my dog is good for, walking it. Yeah. Acceptance is the opposite of wishful thinking. I definitely agree with that. But these blue pill niggas use every method we got over here to compensate for what they really desire. From pump and dump to the way they try to be Prince Charming in relationships. Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. This is a totally new threat. This is a totally new threat because it is not motivated the same way. Like, okay, the reason why women like simps is because they're good fodder. They're good coal for the train conductor. You know what I mean? They throw them in, they burn them, they get a little energy, they boost forward. But the the train is broke down. We gotta switch fuel sources and we gotta switch vehicles. That's what these women are gonna do. They're gonna appear. They're gonna draw them in with the pump and dump, and then they're gonna hit them up and say, "Hey, I really like." When back in the day, they ain't say anything like that. They dealt with the pump and dump. They got what they needed. They made a extract the little resources out of dude and call it a day. But what's going to happen is they're going to not only do just that, they may not even extract resources out of them. They may even give them resources to make it look like a good peace offering. What I'm saying is you're going to be dealing with an entirely different beast that you haven't dealt with before, because this is nothing that we have seen to this magnitude before. So you're going to be dealing, because remember, everybody in this sector understands that the women are governed according to the environment. But the thing is, we have gotten used, and a lot of blue pill men, red pill men, all of us, we have gotten used to dealing with a certain environment. Well, we have gotten used to dealing with a certain woman from a certain environment that has existed for a long time. The face of this environment has not been scorched in the way that it has been by this epidemic. So therefore, we're going to be dealing with a new beast that we have not seen before. Because if what they're saying is correct about this isn't going to be a remedy situation for probably another year and 6 months. I mean, it ain't no telling what's going to go down from that point. And I'm not a fearmonger at all. But what I'm saying is that I'm looking at this from a realistic point of view, because I understand what women will do given certain circumstances. And I had the opportunity to deal with a woman based on a desperation environment that was artificially created nonetheless, but it was one that was created. And I know what this looks like. The men, they don't have the ability. They barely have they just got to the point where they recognized that pump and dump was effective to get what they wanted and give off a little resources and bounce and come out damn near unscathed. This isn't going to be the same anymore. The environment is going to completely change the face of the way these women are going to come at you. That's what I'm saying. Well, let's go back to the comments. I'm convinced the world will stop rotating without blue pillars. It's always going to be this way because they are the matrix. And I agree with you. Although at the same time, we have a lot of men in these sectors. It isn't as clear cut as we would like it to be, because there are some men who understand exactly what we're saying, but they don't truly comprehend it in their hearts and their emotions. And they are, this is a really the manosphere that we have created is a rehabilitation center. And if you know anything about rehabilitation centers, you have to isolate the individual away from things, away from ideologies that would become toxic to them, and bring them back into the state for which they came here for in the first place. But the thing is, it is a process that takes time, and I understand this. Every drug addict does not want to do drugs. And I think every blue pillar does not want to be blue pill. It's just that they don't know no damn better sometimes. And I'm not giving them a scapegoat at all, because they're grown men, definitely. But what I'm saying is that they came here because they heard the truth. They came here because they heard somebody speaking something that they can resonate with. They came here looking for answers to the questions that they had in the back of their minds. This is the locker room. This is the pool hall. This is the pub. This is where the men come who exchange ideas. Some on the fence, some not, some completely blue pill, some completely red pill. But we cannot disregard that there are some people still in a transition, and this message is mainly to them. Because the complete blue pillars, they're completely lost. There's nothing you can say to them. And then the red pillars, we got it mostly under check. But it's the people that are still who are learning this, who want to know what the next move is. We are the lighthouses for these people. um and that's part of what my message is that you should definitely use this time to recognize what you need to be doing. Get your game plan together, get your life together. I mean, play damn video games all day before you entertain a chick, because it's not going to be the same chick that you've been dealing with. I'm telling you, it's don't risk it. Don't roll them dice, man. Don't roll them dice. What's going on, Green Machine? Let's see if I missed anybody else in there. My Kendra, what's going on? I knew you'd come over. Let's see who else we got in here. Nobody knew. Oh, Ebony Knights. I would like to pose a question to the chat. If you were a notary and simp paid you to marry a drag queen, would you refuse to do it, or would you marry them? Take this money and run and laugh. That's a good question. I want to see if somebody answered that, because I knew what my answer is going to be. But anyway, let's get on to the good old screen share. Let's see. I want to do this one. I always get the screen shares all messed up. Let's see. Uh, oh, oh, see if I can get the right one. Okay. I probably should have this stuff all together, but y'all know me. Like I'm like, oh, okay. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna minimize this. Boop. And then we're gonna go here, and hopefully that is enough to see. But as you can see, this is from a month ago. Let me see if you guys can see it. Oh goodness, I'm doing too much. Oh, I know what happened. Okay, let me see if y'all can see it. Oh yeah, y'all can see it. Okay. But this is from a month ago. If you notice right here, it's a month ago. Um, but this is a video. As you can see, it says Richmond County Sheriff's Office responded to a large crowd out of City Financial located on Perch Orchard Road. Now, it said a large crowd, specifically. Large crowd. But as you will see from the video, which I'm not going to go into great detail about, I'm just going to point out a few key things. And then we're going to go from there with the message, because I want you guys to see that I'm not just talking. This is like real stuff that has happened. I don't like to just give you a message and then hope you get it. I like to show you what I see and why I recognize what I recognize. But anyways, so as you can see in the video, this is a video of them outside of where they got their taxes done. Um, and the funny thing is, and it's another little caveat in here, that when these cops told them, back the fuck up, they quiet down, they shut up. That goes to the authority that we were talking about plenty of times when it comes to regards to, white men having authority over black women. But we won't get into that here. But we'll keep on to the topic. As you can see, the majority of people there are female. They're female. They are waiting. They got a letter in the mail that says that their their stimulus check was going to be delayed, and that they needed to contact the IRS. But they came down to the office where they did their taxes, and they wanted to, clarify exactly what was going on, because they thought that the office that did their taxes was frauding them. But nonetheless, if they can come out in these numbers for $1,200 that they may not have necessarily need maybe a month ago, what do you think is going to happen when the government says we're not going to give you any more money? What do you think is going to happen if they will come down there in groups, as you see on the screen here, these large groups, and that's a thin crowd compared to, uh, you know, the 30-minute into it that you get into, and I'll put it here. See mostly black women out there, and it's going to pan around and it's going to show like the mass of the crowd. It's at least about 200 people out there. To be real with you, it's at least about 200 people out there. Let's see if I can get a good spot where they pan around at. I think I might have passed it. Uh, as you can see, the crowds are pretty thin in the beginning. Oh wait, and they're showing the letter that they got, in the mail or whatever. But look at all those people out there, and most of them are women. As you can see, this is during the epidemic phase of things, because the woman there, that lets you know the authenticity of what I'm talking about according to the time frame. The woman there, she has a mask on, right there. So this was just not too long ago. As you can see, it was a month ago. But the women, they're going to become desperate. They're going to become desperate. Now, mind you, these women may not be the best looking at all, but they have kids, so that means somebody found them attractive enough to have sex with, whatever that means. Um, think about the women who actually look decent. That like the supermodels. You know what I mean? The real pretty chicks. Think if they came down with that same desperation that these women had to come down with, the to come in the crowds that they did in order to get a $1,200 check. What's going to happen when they need about 5 grand? To keep a roof above their head, to keep their cars going. You know what I mean? To keep the lights on. What's going to happen then? They're going to come for the simps. They're going to come for the red pill men. You know, they're going to come for the men who pretty much um, look easy. That's what's going to happen. They're going to come for the men who uh, who look like a snack, who look like a target. And my message is, don't fall for it, because it's not going to come wrapped in the same package that it once came wrapped in before, because the landscape is changing, the environment is changing. Got to be careful. Got to be careful out here. Like I said, instead of entertaining these women, find something else to do. Clean your backyard up. I don't know. If you live in an apartment, I don't know, count the fibers in your rug or something. I don't know. Do something. Because entertaining these chicks ain't it, man. And I understand that we all have biological urges, and this is a good time for you to kill off a lot of that. I have my biological urges and whatnot, but they are handled by my women. That's it. I don't go outside of that. That's just the way it is. Um, but if you are a man who does not have a woman, tighten it up, man. I had to. I've been deployed several times, and I never messed with none of them chicks out there because they was already sketchy to me. After I seen, if you go on my other channel, I tell a story about my first year in the military. That chick that fucked over a dude just because she wanted to get out the military, accused him of rape. Nah. From that point on, I ain't deal with military chicks. After I seen the scope, I'm an easy person that can catch on really quick to um, what the climate lends to women in regards to the gynocracy, because it exists in the military. Don't get it messed up. It exists. But nonetheless, I've seen the gravity of women and what they can do and the circumstances that they get themselves in, and the desperation that can come just naturally of the environment. And these women are going to change. I'm letting you guys know right now, right now. And this isn't uh, a plea, rather. This is me coming to you with another understanding that you need to get under your belt. That as the environment changed, the women would change, and the women will change into something that you have not ever seen before, because this environment has not been around in your lifetime. It hasn't. I don't care how old you are. Unless you were in a third world country dealing with Ebola or something like that. I get it. Or unless you were in China dealing with SARS, but that stuff got snuffed out pretty quick. This is a nation, or a nationwide, worldwide thing that has happened. We dealt with Ebola, we dealt with SARS. Um, Now that things have come to a place where it has halted, whole companies, whole production systems. It's changing the landscape, and you have not seen this before. Though you may be somewhat prepared or fully prepared for the environment, you may not be prepared for these women. I'm telling you that right now. This is something for you to think about. If you take it, fine. If you don't, fine as well. But let this be on record that I said it. I told you. I told you. Can't say nobody ain't look out for you. I'm just here to try to talk some sense into you. I'm not here to tell you what you need to do or how you need to do it, or whatever. I'm not here for all that. I'm just here to give you the knowledge based on what I understand. So that has been my message. Uh, did it in 40 minutes roughly, so we good. Wasn't that long. But let's go on these comments and let's see. Kendra says, the matrix is necessary for civilization. Red pill is here to correct and a corrupt matrix, not destroy it. Black pillars will be fine either way. Yes, they will. They'll be fine either way. Um, the debauchery of females will be the realest. Yes, it's sad but true. Um, Israel Lewis says, women will use their beauty, they always have, to get what they want or need, but it's going to be a little different. I'm telling you, it's going to be a little different, because they have always used their beauty. Before all this stuff happened, that's the reason why you get all the weeds, the butt injections, whatever, you got all this other stuff. But that was according to that environment. Once the environment changed, it may not bring everything to it, or it may, you never know in regards to female nature. But I'm going to say that it's going to be some hybridization of what we once knew as the strags and the females that we have dealt with before. but it's going to be some new stuff. It's like it's going to be some umbrella corporation type shit going on. I'm sorry, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, it's going to be something that you have never seen before, and you are ill equipped. Most men are ill equipped for this because no one has there are no videos out there that can tell you how to address this because we don't know what this female looks like. We don't know what her behaviors are. Because the environment is going to change her into something different. We don't know what that looks like. So there are no videos that you can listen to that will help you give you tactics, some smooth criminal or how to, it, it won't be anything to help you. I'm telling you, the best advice that I can give you is to completely disengage until this stuff blows over. Um, I know it sucks. I know it sucks, because that puts not this, this dealing with women, but this whole epidemic has put a damper on my day. Believe me, so that there's a new normal that I had to get used to in regards to the things that I normally do and how I like to do things. But I have the fortitude to maintain, because this is a gear that I have done before. I'm a well versed man in my own masculinity. There are plenty of places that I've been, plenty of circumstances that I've been in where I had to cultivate a certain level of masculinity in order to meet the standards of the environment. So I've dealt with things like this before. And this is, once again, this isn't me talking directly about the women, but having to deal with sitting the fuck down, pretty much having to deal with not being able to live a semi social life, that I used to. I didn't do much as it is. I just did what I needed to do and just maybe a little extra, but I cut all that stuff out. Believe me, all that going places, all that traveling, you know, all that sightseeing and extracurricular time. I haven't did anything, to be honest with you. Most I've done is probably walk the trail or something. Maybe walk my dogs or something. You know, but as far as the stuff that I used to do, I don't really do that anymore. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. You just have a different task at hand. Because I'm not subjugated to the same things due to the fact that I am not on the hook for looking for someone to express my biological desires. I don't have that issue. Um, so for the men who are out there, you're gonna have to meditate, man. I'm telling you, you're gonna have to, and I don't mean like think about stuff. I'm talking about like you need to look up some meditation videos for real. You need to figure out what you need to do to keep yourself centered into what your purpose is. Cut the women out, cut them out right now. Cut them out, cut them out. And there are going to be women that come from your past. I know you heard this said several times already. BGS has said it. Angry Man has said it. I think Grinch has said it. BJ said it. Everybody said this. They're going to be women that can hit you up on the text. They're good as dead, believe me. And I don't mean that in a literal sense, but as far as your dating options goes, they're good as dead. You know, the, write them off. Write them off. You already know that. We've seen that one before. But the thing is, it's going to be new women this time. It's not just going to be the exes no more. It's going to be new women. These women out here, they're going to get desperate. I'm telling you right now. And why? Once again, I'm not someone that's trying to scare you into something. I'm just somebody that's trying to warn you from what's going to come, what I see coming, because I've dealt with similar things before. But I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Later on, I'm going to give my message to the women. This is my message to the men. It's going to be a course differently. It's going to tag along to the last video I did when it comes to the appreciation of the reality. Um, and I think that is going to be very beneficial for the women who like to listen to my channel. Even though my I look at my statistics and it says that uh, I have a 100% male audience, but that's not true. Because I know women that come to my channel. I guess according to the numbers, 99.9% looks funny, whatever. Let's see. It said I work during security. I have no social life. Good, good. And you can do what you need to do. Yeah, the hey big head. Yeah, y'all already know it's coming. But the thing is, be prepared for the. I really like your personality, or something that you ain't heard before. Be prepared for that. It's going to be a lot of text. It's going to be a lot of context. It's going to be a lot of conversation that you haven't heard from women before. Don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. Um, Fasting and lower the meat intake, specifically red meat. This lowers libido with consistency. Extend the energy another way. Yes. Maybe do some home workouts. Um, I've been upping my workouts a little bit, though I've been pretty lazy because I'm so used to the gym. I think not working with like conventional weights is like it's like a waste of time if you're not doing it with conventional ways. But I know that's completely not true. Once again, I'm a man of science, so I understand how these things work. But in my mind, I just can't. So I've even had to cut out the gym, and I had to retool and get back in the rhythm of being active in my own house. There's a retooling that needs to happen. Believe me, everybody's going through this. But for you men out there who have been doing things the way you have been doing, this is another pitfall that you need to look out for. Keep the interactions to a minimum, if at all. You know, if you were dealing with women in the midst of this, by all means, go ahead and do that. Um, but take it on any new women, nope, nope. And I would even say watch the women that you're dealing with now if you have not um, bless them past your threshold of acceptance. And what I mean is if she's still proving herself as far as what your standards are, keep an eye on her too. Keep an eye on her too, because her rhythm might change as well. Um, what I've come to find is that women who are already locked into a circumstance, to a situation, to a relationship, whatever you want to call it, they tend to be immune to the outside influence of what's going on socially and what their biology is, because they're already on track with you. They're already on track with you. So you don't necessarily have to worry about them getting desperate. Because why would they get desperate? They're already here, right? They already can come to your house and chill out. They already can get what they need from you, from your masculinity, from your personality, from all the things that you have to offer as a man to them. They already can get that stuff from them. Even your resources if necessary. They already can get that because they have that relationship with you. But the women who are just meeting your vetting process, uh, and the women who have never met it but want to sign up, watch them. Watch the women who are just meeting your vetting process, and turn away the women who want to sign up. That's my suggestion. Um, let's see. Uh, D. Scott says, "Yep, the hey big head. There it is. Uh, Good thing I work 12 hours a night. Uh, Time for my photography website. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, get a hobby. I mean, if chicks was your hobby, get a new hobby right now. Right now. Look up online, figure out what you can do with yourself. Uh, make some money passively, you know. Make some and learn about stocks or something. Learn about something that can help you put some money in your pocket. Learn about some of that stuff. It can never hurt you. But one thing's for sure, that these women out here can possibly be a liability. I don't think learning about stocks can be a liability. I don't think so. Especially if you learn enough. That's not on the horizon. But anyway, I'm gonna cut it out. If you guys got any questions, you know how I do. Go ahead and shoot them down. Um, I'm going to probably talk just a few more minutes, and then I'm going to be out of here. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Um, I've been waiting to do this one because I wanted to make sure that it was a very good, appropriate time. I didn't want to, once again, give you a half cooked plate of food. I want to make sure that you guys can understand where I'm coming from, that I'm speaking clearly, that there's a coherency to my thoughts, uh, that it was sincere. Um, Not saying that I've ever been unsincere, but I want to make sure that when I bring a message, this is the most sincerity. Uh, because I do this for a reason, and it's not for, once again, it's not for money, it's not for gain popularity. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about the forward progression of the men who want to hear this. That's what I care about. So let's see here, real. This real says, "Can't wait to see what women do when we all get out of jail." Yeah, I'm telling you, when the clubs open up, because that's eventually going to happen. That's going to be part of it. Don't confuse, don't confuse the economy open up with this being over. Do not confuse that. We know. I mean, they open these nail shops, they open these hair salons, and these chicks is right in there catching that good old COVID, right? We know this. We already understand this. So just the same as with this climate, just because they open up the clubs, that doesn't mean that you can go back on the scene and hunt again. Go back to the old pump and dump because the thirst is still there. Don't let don't let what the government does confuse you. Remember, I said you should be a man of your own leadership, not someone else's. Now, I'm not saying that go out and break rules and break laws, but what I'm saying is that you should have some type of level of masculinity about yourself, that you can see something differently than what everyone else sees. And that's one of them. Just because they open this economy up, don't you take your little ass out there and hit up the first chick you can, because they're gonna be thirsty still. Thirst gotta wear off. I'm telling you, it gotta wear off. Because women, they get caught in their emotions, and emotions can stay around for a little bit, and and emotions are like residue. You can drain the tub, but you still got that little soot on there, right? That's no different than a female's emotions. When the situation has passed, they're still going to be in their emotions of desperation, and you don't want to get help caught with the bag on that either. I'm telling you. So, um, let's see. See, Green Machine says, so does that include pay for play women? Um, no, not necessarily. I wouldn't say that includes them, because that is still a circumstance that you have been under already. You know, because you just don't run across these women anyways. And if those women are there, they're already in the game for what they need to be in the game for. They're not there to get anything differently than they were before this stuff started in the first place. This goes to the new women that I'm talking about. I mean, I don't necessarily condone pay for play, but if that's your thing, go ahead and do what you need to do. Um, but that's how I would go about it if that was my circumstance. Uh, because they're not in it. They're not in it for anything differently than they were in the first place. So it's the women who are in it for different things due to the environment changing. Pay for play has been around since the dawn of man. That's the one thing that you can be sure that it ain't going nowhere based on the environment. You know, so um, Israel Lewis says, taking all the shit to the extreme once they get in there too. Chinese women gonna have a hell of drama to listen to. Yep. Yeah, yeah, and it's gonna go to the extreme. I predict that pregnancies are gonna go up. That's what I predict. I predict that on the first week to the first month that the clubs open up, DUIs is going to be at an all-time high. Pregnancies is going to go back to teen mom numbers. You know what I mean? It's going to be crazy. Don't be one of those guys, man. Don't be one of those guys that get caught up in that, because it's going to happen. People, like I said, the residue of a woman's emotions doesn't wear off just because the situation did. You ever notice that if you scare a woman, she's like scared like 30 minutes after the situation. You know what I mean? Or if you watch a movie with her or something like that, she's still, if a woman's highly emotional about something, um, she's going to have the residue of that stuff based on how she feels and not necessarily the circumstances. Even before, if a woman feels that there's an imminent threat coming, she'll get into flight or fight mode and there'll be nothing happening. This is the intuition of women and how it works. And it's no different than desire. Desire is an emotion. It's not something that is ever present. It's something that comes and goes based on the circumstances. Uh, so be on the lookout. Uh, so that's my show. Hope you guys enjoyed. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.